Hey people, it's Tuesday, October the 27th, and it is 11:25 in the morning. And I'm going to be walking along Wellington Street through the financial district, and then I will continue on along Wellington, past some beautiful old historic buildings, and then I will make my way to Niagara Street, and I will walk along Niagara Street, which is a street I've never walked on before in any of my videos. And then we'll probably finish up by seeing if we can make it to Queen West, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes to get that far. I might cut it short if the video gets too long. So we're walking along Wellington Street East right now. We're just approaching the financial district. We just passed through the St. Lawrence Market area. There you can see the Flatiron Building, also known as the Gooderham Building. It's passing by Birksey Park with the already famous dog fountain, which has been turned off this entire year, unfortunately. It's rather chilly out and a little bit windy. I'd say it's in the mid single digits, 5-6 degrees, maybe 7, probably not much more than that. And I'm kind of regretting not bringing gloves because already my hand is starting to feel uncomfortably frozen. So we'll see how that goes. I might have to switch hands frequently while warming the other in my pocket. So we're just coming up on Yonge Street. Some nice historic buildings here at the corner of Yonge and Wellington, which stand in stark contrast to the modern office towers directly beside them. There you can see the new CIBC Square Tower. It's just wrapping up construction. And here is BCE Place. It's a 2-tower complex. And you can hear the subway going up Yonge Street. It's looking north up Yonge. Get a nice shot. It's one of the nice historic buildings. And some new modern buildings. That's one of the things about Toronto. It's a nice mix of old and new, all jumbled together. A lot of people like to mistakenly describe Toronto as just a city of modern glass condos and nothing else, and that's not really true. At street level, you can see there's plenty of historic buildings and older structures. They just tend to be a lot smaller and don't show up in photos of the skyline. You have to actually walk the streets to see them. Further up Wellington, there's a stretch of beautiful old buildings that we'll be passing by. So right now we're passing through the financial district along Wellington. We have Royal Bank Plaza. This was constructed in the late 1970s, but it still looks like brand new to me. I mean, still looks modern and beautiful. Hasn't lost anything over the years. It's looking north up Bay Street. And south.
Way better.
Wellington Street is one way through here. And it's a bit of a traffic funnel and a taxi parking area. Doesn't really have a lot of street presence, I guess. The office towers and whatnot tend to be oriented in the other way towards King Street or Front Street, whereas Wellington sort of gets the boring sides of the buildings. Passing by the Toronto Dominion Centre. Which is actually the first modern skyscraper to be built in the city, at least over 500 feet or 200 meters. That first TD Bank Tower was completed in 1967. At the time, it stood out like a sore thumb compared to all the smaller, older buildings around it. But it didn't take long for it to get lots of neighbors, many of which surpassed it in height. See the second TD Bank Tower. That one was completed a couple years later, around 1969. And this is the third one, which was completed shortly after that. So those are the three original TD Bank Tower buildings, our Toronto Dominion complex buildings. Two more were added later, slightly shorter towers, but they are not originals. They are sort of copies of the original three. Now we're just crossing York Street. It's looking south towards the lake. And north towards Queen Street. And Osgood Hall. That's where York Street terminates. And there we have the CN Tower making its presence known. Looking north up University Avenue. So we're just about near lunchtime here in the financial district, and normally this would be bustling with people. But not nowadays. I think some people have been trickling back into the offices lately. But it's obviously still just a tiny percentage of normal. I'm going to jaywalk. There you can see that construction site is where another new office tower will be rising. We are passing Roy Thompson Hall, which is a performing arts venue. That's where the Toronto Symphony Orchestra plays. And if you watch the Prime series of The Boys, you might also recognize that, since that show is shot here in Toronto, and Roy Thomson Hall is featured as one of the prominent buildings in The Boys, although they digitally added another structure on top of it. But you'll recognize the base of that structure as being Roy Thomson Hall. We are passing the Ritz-Carlton. They probably have not been doing much business over the last 6-7 months. And here we have the headquarters for CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And a really nice shot of the CN Tower. This is Metro Hall. Which is not the same as City Hall, but it served a similar function back in the days when Toronto was a two-tiered regional municipality known as the Municipality of Metropolitan Toronto. That municipality was dissolved in 1998 and replaced by the single-tier new City of Toronto. And these are funny little not sure exactly what sort of animal these are supposed to be. I mean, we are looking south down John Street towards the Sky Dome. And looking north into the entertainment district. And another great shot of the CN Tower. CBC. So now we're walking through the southern portion of the entertainment district. A lot of the buildings here are hotels or condominiums with restaurants at the ground level. There's a cool shot of the Sky Dome. We all know the Sky Dome has another name, but I will not be referring to it by that name. You can see the new office tower for the Well construction site. The Well is a multi-building complex that will feature office space, residential units in the form of multiple condominium towers, and a shopping complex. North up Blue Jays Way, which becomes Peter Street once you pass King. Some nice old row houses here, just across from the park. I believe this is Clarence Square Park. See, someone has set up a homestead here, which is a fairly common sight now in most of the parks around the city. Now we've reached Spadina Avenue. Now you can see the cranes at the Well construction site. Shot looking north up Spadina. Certainly no shortage of dogs out and about today with their humans. So Wellington continues along here. A little while back I did a night walk through downtown, and I was going to come down here, but I ended up going to Front Street instead and then walking through construction hoarding along the other side of this construction site. And I kind of regretted doing that because then I missed walking past all these nice buildings which will be coming up ahead here on this street. So this is my chance to finally get these on camera. I do have a much older video walking along here from back when I used my phone as my camera. But that doesn't do it justice the way that this much superior camera would do. So I've been meaning to come here again. Now this poor old mansion has been repeatedly set on fire under suspicious circumstances. As you can see, there's a proposal here to redevelop the site, but I believe the building is supposed to be retained as part of the new development. But it seems like somebody doesn't want that building to remain because they keep trying to burn it down. And I think I just walked through a filming site. I'm not sure what they're filming, but could be any number of things. There are multiple TV shows in production in Toronto. And many movies as well. Of course, things kind of slowed down over the last 6 months, but I think they're back in action again as far as filming goes. As you can see, this building is also slated to be incorporated into a new development. We'll see if someone tries to set this one on fire. And another proposal. think that's just their showroom. I think that building will be coming down when they start construction of the new building. And look at this. This one is also proposed for redevelopment, but it looks like, of course, the old structure will be retained, thankfully, with a new addition built above and behind it. Seems like almost every old building along this stretch has a proposal. I just detected some raindrops. It's still very light right now, but it starts to come down harder. I might have to end the video a bit earlier than I was planning. This is a rather nice little spot. Here we are at Bathurst Street. See if I can cross here. Alright, now we're going to leave Wellington Street. And we will go south a little ways So right here at Niagara Street. This is mainly a residential street, but I've always found it interesting because it doesn't follow the grid of the city. It kind of veers in a big U shape, or half of a U, I should say, and cuts across a bunch of different streets at awkward angles. And it has lots of old row houses and a few other interesting old buildings like these up ahead. And of course it's just named after an iconic Canadian geographical feature. Now these buildings I've always loved, and I hope they don't get torn down. I believe these used to be artists' lofts. It was some sort of cooperative artist colony that used to be located inside here. Oh, here we got some spooky decorations. And a few free books. See, we got some nice old bay and gable houses. Just Toronto's signature style of housing vernacular. Seems like the rain has stopped, so that's good. There you can see the towers of Liberty Village popping up there. Those are new additions, those taller ones. I feel like I want to get a good shot of these buildings. Just to give them some sort of lasting lasting video. Because I have a bad feeling they're going to come down one day and they'll never be able to be recorded again. These are some nice colorful row houses. I don't know, that might be my favorite old block of old warehouse style buildings in the city. So now we'll just continue along Niagara as it veers through the neighborhood. don't think the people who live here are probably too thrilled about having these dump trucks use the street as a parking zone, a waiting area. Wow, look at that. Fu Sin Tong Buddhist Temple. I have to say, I have never noticed this before. I just don't think I've walked past this part of Niagara Street. Foggy Dew Irish Pub. Here we are at King Street.
Renovating their condo, right?
And I guess it's recess. Or lunch hour, one or the other. This is Niagara Street Public School. It's a nice old school looking school building. UFO restaurant. I'll just kind of peek down here for a bit. Never really walked around through here before, so this is kind of interesting to me. At one time I was almost set to move into this building, actually. So I had obviously been down here before. I came to look at one of the units here. And I was just about to take it, but then I got a call from another place that I had looked at that said it was mine if I wanted it, and it was a bit cheaper, and it was closer to where I worked, so I went with the other place. And I'm kind of glad that it turned out that way. And here we are at Queen Street. This is where Niagara Street ends. It's like some interesting graffiti alley here. I mean, some interesting alley graffiti. Not Graffiti Alley, that's another place. This is not the actual graffiti alley that people talk about and come to see. But it's definitely an alley full of graffiti. How did I not know that this was here? I mean, how many times have I walked along Queen Street just on the other side of these buildings? Without taking a peek behind here. Crazy that I'm still discovering new things after all this time. All these years of walking around the city. And we'll go back out to Queen Street. And here we are. So now I'm going to make my way back towards home. And I will wrap up the video. So I hope you enjoyed this walk along Wellington Street. And then along Niagara Street. And with a surprise alley of graffiti at the very end. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Like, share, comment, tell your friends, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. I've been posting almost every day lately, usually every other day, at least. And keep checking back because, as always, that's right. He recognized my camera. Keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.